on the Sapere method in early childhood education and care. And we will present the Nutrition Now project. We will also represent some of the other projects that we've had earlier on. But first, I'd like to show you where we are. So we are in Norway, as you can see, and you can see the red dot. We are in the southern part of Norway at the University of Agder. And we also are part of the Priority Research Center of Life Course Nutrition. So the agenda, or what how we've outlined our presentation, we will first give you a kind of like a background or the context of the Norwegian early childhood education and care system, so that you know that's probably different in different parts of the world. And also our research, or our previous research on kindergarten research. And we will describe the Nutrition Now project, and Sissel will guide you through how we use Sapere in the Nutrition Now project. And then we'll just conclude with some future, what we plan to do in the future. So Sissel, would you like to present your topic?
Yes, thank you. In Norway, nearly all children attend kindergarten, commonly known as early childhood education and care. In recent years, there has been a significant increase in the number of 1 to 2 year olds in the centers. The centers in Norway are approximately divided equally between public and private institutions. And primary school begins at the age of 6. The owner of the centers decides how food is handled at each center. It can be brought from home or prepared by staff. And some centers use a mix of both. This leads to different food setups in Norwegian early childhood education and care centers, depending on the owner's choice. However, a common issue in these centers is that vegetables are not served often enough. Relatively few centers have a chef on staff, and the quality of food service is influenced by the cooking skills of the staff. A challenge is improving food and meals in the centers is that teacher education doesn't put sufficient emphasis on food-related knowledge. I think that's an international problem. I have an idea that that's what it is. In 2014 and 17, we conducted 2 research studies called Children's Food Courage in early childhood education and care centers in Norway. The second version was digital. Our objective was to motivate the staff to carry out a healthy eating intervention with 4 components, specially designed to increase vegetable intake among 1 and 2 year olds in the centers. The plan involved implementing 4 components, 3 days a week for 3 months. They were asked to cook new lunch dishes 3 days a week, conduct Sapere sessions 3 days a week, following advice during meal times with the children, and inform parents.
So as Sissel said, we've performed, or we conducted 2 different randomized controlled trials in kindergartens with the aim to improve diet, and also having a special focus on vegetable intake. And the first one was done in 2014. So this has been like a 10-year journey for Sissel and me. We have, what they did, the 4 components that Sissel described, They were implemented in the intervention kindergartens. There were 9 of those. And our results from that project are purely qualitative. And as you can see here, with the, the main result, or the main, what we learned from this was that participating in this intervention was a bumpy road, from everyday routine to evidence-based food and meal practices. And this was largely due to lack of cooking skills among the staff, and that it was difficult to implement new routines because they were unfamiliar with the dishes and foods that were served, etc. But if you see the 2 red boxes, you can see what was successful in this project, and that relates to the Sapere method and also sensory, the sensory work that we've done. The first topic was that there was a successful development of sensory knowledge. Both toddlers and staff became aware of their own senses when they used the Sapere method and the different components that Sissel described. And also toddlers and staff improved their verbalizing, or their language. And we have 2 quotes from that part. One teacher said that we noticed throughout the day that the toddlers paid attention to a door. There was a lot of smelling of different things. And regarding the language, they said that the children, that there were many words that they had managed to say that they had not previously said. And they felt that that was wonderful. And I think that the staff also got improved language on how to describe the different vegetables so that the children could visualize them. And the last box here is regarding the sustainability of our intervention. And the things that they were inspired, the kindergarten staff were inspired to use, was the Sapere method. They really liked that and will continue using that. And then we have another study that was performed in 2017. And we learned from the first one that perhaps we should include or target 1-year-olds. And we also were keen to have 2 different intervention arms. And the one where they were only having a food arrangement where they were serving food for hot meals for children. And the other one was that we added the Sapere session. And Sissel, she will tell you a bit more about that later. And we also had a control group. So the quantitative data from that showed that, and you can just, so I just put the table in really to show you the numbers, but the point is that the intervention groups, they had 20 to 24% more portions of vegetables per day compared to the control after this intervention. And also they consumed 3 to 4 times more of the intervention vegetables. They were given specific vegetables that they used during the Sapere sessions, and the same vegetables were served in their food. And there was a significant difference here for also after adjusting for parental education for the diet and Sapere group. The combination was the one that was the best. So we also had a qualitative data from 2017 on kindergarten teachers' experience with the dietary intervention again for the 1-year-olds. And while the first one of ours was like this bumpy road, this was the overall theme was that the kindergarten teachers were really surprised. The title of this paper is, "Wow, they really like celeriac." Yes. And what they told us is that they were surprised that 1-year-olds were willing to try and accept novel food. They had this preconception or this thought that they had to serve the children what they thought they liked. So they were really surprised and pleased. And also another finding was that they found again that the Sapere method was a fun and explorative activity for the 1-year-olds. We were a bit, yeah, I think that they were surprised about that as well, that it was relevant for the 1-year-olds. And also, again, for the sustained, what they wanted, which practices they wanted to bring to take on later, or the impacts of this was related to Sapere. They really felt that that was something that fitted to their context and was something they wanted to continue with. So with these results, we decided to include this intervention in kindergartens in our project Nutrition Now, which is a large project funded by the Norwegian Research Council, where the overall aim is to promote a healthy diet and healthy dietary care the first 1,000 days of life, from pregnancy until 2 years of 2 years of age, children 2 years of age. And another topic that another aim of that study is to decide or try to identify how we can implement a digital resource that aims to promote a healthy diet in different services, and both in municipality and county settings. So I'll give you a brief project overview where you can, where the 2 boxes in the middle are the most relevant one for the Nutrition Now. It is part 1 was an effectiveness trial, where we wanted to implement and evaluate the effect of this resource, which I will tell you more about later, in one municipality and compare it with another municipality. And and the other part was a scale up, where we are just evaluating different implementation strategies at the county level. And with implementation strategies, we are talking about the strategies like building a coalition before it is implemented with the kindergartens or the politicians, etc., or whether you should call the users regularly or having educational meetings and several stuff. What is the best way to implement such a resource so that hopefully we could implement it at national level? We don't know that. That's why we have the dotted lines. And to just show you, before Sissel will present more, what this digital resource that we implement in Nutrition Now is. It is based on 4 different projects, digital projects, where ranging from pregnancy until during, and another project is from infancy and toddlerhood, and also the one from the kindergarten, which have all showed positive effects in randomized controlled trials. So what we've done in Nutrition Now is that we've combined these into one resource. And this resource is created it's co-created with users from kindergartens, from healthcare centers, and also vulnerable groups. And we've included their thoughts or how it should best fit to their service, and also how it would, the ways that they thought it would be best to implement them. It includes this is in Norwegian, but it says like for parents and for kindergartens. And the parental part is translated into English and Arabic, because that's something that the user said that was really core.
Nina, I cannot hear you. It's something with your...
Here too. I can
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, but that's good then, because now it's Sissel. Sissel will explain more how Sapere is in this Nutrition Now digital resource. Sissel.
Yes. Within the digital resource, you will find the Sapere component. Now we are in the digital resource. By clicking on it, a description of what staff should attempt to accomplish 1 day a week for a period of 6 months will be displayed. And I will now provide additional details regarding the content in the Sapere part. So staff introduce a new vegetable every month with a weekly playful Sapere sessions for the toddlers. For 1 to 2-year-olds, repeated exposure is key for sensory development, and they will then have a total of 4 exposure to the same vegetable in Sapere session, 4 exposure in 1 month. In addition, the monthly vegetable is also integrated into lunch, served twice a week into 2 different dishes. A self-chosen mascot named Sapere, introducing the month's featured vegetable in a playful manner. Children interact with the mascot before opening the box to reveal the vegetable. To help toddlers become familiar with their own senses and develop foundational sensory language, we have encouraged staff to use the same templates for 6 months. This template is a part of an exercise called Get to Know Your Own Senses, as described in a book by, among others, Stina. The children explore the vegetable using the 5 senses. Feel the texture with your hands. Does the vegetable have a smell? What do we see? What does it taste like? And does it make a sound when we eat? We also asked the staff to create a picture book and or a please help me, Nina. Vocabulary bank. Yeah, thank you. Here's an example of a 2-year-old's description of a green bean. It's green, a leaf, long, smells like broccoli, smells like nothing, tastes like candy, crunches in the mouth, and looks like a snake. The resource includes a Sapere menu with suggestions for presenting the same vegetable in 3 different ways during the Sapere sessions over the course of a month. The resource provides suggestions for staff engaging in sensory discussions during children's mealtime. For instance, encouraging children to express thoughts on flavors, responding to expressions when encountering diverse textures or sour or bitter taste, and describe food crunchiness and colors during discussions. The kindergarten, or the early childhood education and care, aims to create continuity in children's lives, bridging the gap between home and the center settings. Therefore, we ask the staff to inform parents about their practices. Photo of the vegetable of the month provide parents with information about the type of food their child is being introduced to, and practices in the center. We also aim to inspire staff to provide parents with examples on how they implement the Sapere method. One suggestion is to include a brief text in newsletters, and another suggestion is to inform parents about their child's development. The resource includes tips and principles on how to continue applying the Sapere method beyond the intervention period. And the digital resource describes how the Sapere method aligns with the national curriculum, ensuring it's firmly grounded in a legal framework. For example, the Sapere method helps stimulate communication, language development, learning, and personal growth. So this was a brief overview of how Sapere is integrated into the Nutrition Now project.
Thank you, Sissel. So that's what, just to sum up, or what we plan to do with the data that we are collecting. We are, from our phase 1, we will evaluate the effect of the combined resource on child diet, vegetable intake, etc., and kindergarten staff feeding practices. And we will also evaluate the experiences again, how quite a few or many more than what we've explored earlier, different kindergartens, how they have experienced this resource and the implementation process. We've had in phase 1, have this iterative approach where we've called all the kindergarten leaders or team leaders to hear how the implementation is going and whether we could help them. So that's an interesting strategy to see if that works. And we want to identify the best way to implement both the way that provides the best effect and most use of the intervention. And with these results, we hope that we have enough to convince our politicians that this could be a resource that is used nationally. So with that, I think that Sissel and I will thank you for your attention, and we hope that there was some valuable information during this presentation. Again, we are really pleased that we could present this for you. Thank you.
Thank you.